this time, I went to Mexico to visit my brother, who was working as an anthropologist with the Tzotzil Indians, the last surviving Mayan tribe. Now the Tzotzil speak a lovely bird-like language, and are quite tiny physically, and I towered over them. Now mostly, I spent my days following women around, since my brother wasn't really allowed to do this. We got up at 3 a.m. and we began to separate the corn into 3 colors. Then we boiled it. We ran to the mill and finally started to make the tortillas. Now all the other women's tortillas were 360 degrees, perfectly toasted and perfectly round. And even after a lot of practice, mine were lopsided and charred. And when they thought I wasn't looking, they threw them to the dogs. Now after breakfast, we spent the rest of the day down at the river, watching the goats and braiding and unbraiding each other's hair. So usually, but there wasn't that much to report. One day, the women decided to braid my hair Tzotzil style. After they did this, I saw my reflection in a puddle. I looked ridiculous. But they said, before we did this, you were ugly. But now, maybe you will find a husband. I lived with them in a yurt, a thatched structure shaped like a cupcake. And there's a central fireplace ringed by sleeping shelves. And there's a central fireplace, and sort of like a dry beaver dam. Now my Tzotzil name was Laurie, which means, loosely translated, ugly one with the jewels. Now ugly, okay. I was awfully tall by local standards. But what did they mean by the jewels? Now I didn't find out what this meant until one night when I was taking my contact lenses out. And since I'd lost the case, I was carefully placing them up on the sleeping shelf. Now suddenly, I noticed that everyone was staring at me. And I suddenly realized that none of the Tzotzil had ever seen glasses, much less contact lenses. And that these were the jewels. The transparent, perfectly round jewels that I carefully hid on the shelf at night and put, for safekeeping, in my eyes every morning. So I may have been ugly, but so what? I had the jewels. Full fathom 5. Thy father lies.